that industrialists do not pay taxes, and if industrialists do not pay taxes, FBR has to look into it, how they do not pay the taxes, why do they do not pay taxes, if at all they say they do not pay taxes. So that is the things we have to do it. The next thing that we have to do is reduce exemptions. We have seen even today the income tax ordinance says there are exemptions available to almost about 139 categories or 140 categories available. So we have to reduce them. Yes, there would be pensions available, fine, we say pension should not be taxed, fine. There should be some gallantry awards, shaheeds, things like that, we should not have them taxed, fine, because that probably would be the only source of income for them. And then what else are we looking for? Taxation across the board. Now this is a concept across the board means if we are, let's say, 1 million taxpayers, are all the million taxpayers paying the taxes according to the requirement? किसी को हम छोड़ देते हैं, किसी को पकड़ लेते हैं, किसी के ऊपर प्रेशर डाल देते हैं, किसी के ऊपर प्रेशर नहीं डाल देते. For example, those who are in the tax net, they keep on paying more and more. For example, the recent example is the 15% surcharge. It is only on those people who are in the tax net and not those who are outside the tax net. So the taxation burden is coming only on those people, on those persons who are right in front of me. We have not tried so far to get people into the system where they are ready to make more and more tax. Reduce multiple tax collections. Now, what do I mean by that? For example, a person who is running a CNG station, he's paying tax on CNG, gas. He's paying, because the gas is being generated through electricity, he's paying tax on electricity also. Which one is the finalist charge? When he goes for the refunds, he doesn't get it. Where should he go? So on and so forth, there is a person who is paying more and more withholding. As our system is, we are more reliant on withholding of taxes rather than collecting the taxes from the taxpayer itself. So what are we doing is we are putting more and more burden on the persons. Cash withdrawal systems, they are there, multiple tax collections. Then airline travel, multiple tax collections. Then you can talk of many, and there are multiple tax collections. Plug the loopholes. When you say plug the loopholes, the government knows it better. They understand, they have their own responsibilities, and definitely they would be having more problems also. Afghan transit trade is one of the biggest ones. Can we stop? Can we control? Yes, we should allow, but under what system and how? There has to be some definite purpose behind it. Rationalization of taxes. This is what we should do. If we want the tax base to increase, if we want that people should come forward and pay their taxes, it should be lower taxations. We can't have one salaried class paying all the taxes, corporate sector, multinationals, banking, insurance, paying all the taxes. We can't do that. We have to have broader base and then lower. And even if we look around into the regional system, what is there? The corporate rates are around 30%. We are at 35%. We are talking of now enhancement of corporate tax, that corporates should pay more taxes. I'm not saying that I have heard it from the board itself. I'm saying people are talking general. When I come interaction with people who make the policies somewhere along the line, they have this issue in mind. The corporate sector, for example, particularly the banking, they're making more profit, they should be paying more taxes. I think the systems in the world are otherwise. The more you earn, the reduced rates come around. And then last is tax collected to be spent on the common man. This is the biggest flaw in our country or the developed countries. The common man doesn't see the tax being spent on himself, health, education, security, everything lacks. There is a deficit everywhere, and we have to ensure that this particular thing is done, so that the purpose is that the person comes himself and says, here I am and I want to contribute, because if I get sick, I will be looked after. If my child will get education, I have security, I do not have a problem going to the police station, and so on and so forth. There are so many things that one can talk about. There are so many things over here we can see. At least it should have been looked to have been spent. If not spent, at least looked to have been spent. Next, please. Section 4A of the ordinance, it has been introduced by the Income Tax Amendment Ordinance 2011, and Section 4A has been inserted, much talked about. In fact, I started off with it also. Initially, when we were talking about it, it was that 10% come, and it was more commonly known as the flood surcharge. The flood is gone, surcharge has come in. And with that force with which the flood came in, I have even seen that a lot of people are saying that flood surcharge, a lot of associations, a lot of people, even one of the banks has sent me an SMS that while collecting income tax on your say, we are collecting flood surcharge 15%. So the misnomer is still there. The levy should have been reduced to 5%. It should not have been 15%. It's again taxing those who are in the tax net. How much are we going to get out of it? I'm not sure about it. Appropriate amendment be made to apply for a particular period. As I see the law itself, it's going to cover everything. I had an audience with Mr. Khawa Khurshid Bhatt also, and I discussed it with him. We need to have some sort of an explanation. There is one which I just even saw it before coming here. I saw there is one sort of a particular which has been issued to the National Savings Center, Central Directorate of the National Savings, where particular period has been said to be the period for which the tax collections have to be set. But in my view, we need to have some sort of a clarification on that, so that it is not covered on the entire period of 2011. People, when filing the tax returns, do not have to pay the tax additional 15%. If the purpose is that, then it should be clarified according to that. It should not be made a permanent legislation. As I foresee, it seems that it was going to be at least for another couple of years coming. If not at the same 15%, at least 10%, it is likely to come in again. And as I requested that some clarification needs to be done, and in a very particular mode and manner, that it is applicable only for the 15th of March onwards to 30th of June 2011, and not for the tax year 2011. So some sort of a clarification is required. Next, please. The most commonly taxed person is the salary. Salary income is the most taxed today. We had, it started off earlier on, the rates were again 20%, but the slabs were higher up to 8 million or so, and then going forward we had 80%, 20% on 8 million and above. So it was now reduced last year to 4 million and same 20%. So we are now squeezing the middle salary bracket. The higher income wale to pehle bhi bahut hi 20% mein the, they're still in the 20%. But with this reduction, what we have done is we've enhanced the taxation on the middle salary category. There's no relief for them. Everything is taxed. Whatever the employer pays is taxed. And if the employer has to have his accounts corrected and an expense allowed, he will not leave anything. And this by and large goes in multinationals, banks, and all the properly documented institutions, where even employer related benefits are also taxed. For example,